What's up there? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, my name is Irene Kadhambi and you're welcome to the Yes I Can tribe. So about a week ago, I was catching up with my Kenyan friends whom we studied together with at the Netherlands, and we looked back at the kind of jobs that we did during the period that we were transitioning from masters to PhD, because most of us are doing PhD and there are others who got other formal jobs. But between, like, the period between when the masters ended and when we started the PhD, or when someone got a formal employment, we all did some sort of menial jobs. So for me and two of my friends, we used to work in a place where we were making sandwiches. One of the challenging things about this job was the working hours. We used to start by 6:30, and okay, the ending time would be, let's say, up to 3 or earlier, depending on the time that you finish the job. And there was also a night shift that started from 3 to around midnight. So for us, we worked during the day, though one of my friends also worked the night shift at some point. So starting at 6:30, we had to wake up latest by 5, because we would cycle for 10 kilometers to get to that place. And the reason why we were cycling, it's not because we were trying to save too much, is because if we used the first morning bus, then it would be late for job. So we had to wake up really early, take the bike, cycle all the way. And then the other challenging thing was, it's like you're working in a freezer. So because you're working with fresh vegetables, salads, whatever, the place, the temperatures were cool. I don't know exactly how many degrees, but it was really cold. So for hygiene purposes, when you get there, first you wear overalls on top of your clothes, you change your shoes, and then you wear some latex gloves. And then, because whatever you're handling is also so cold, you had to wear another pair of gloves, like the normal gloves inside. And there are times when, if you get there a little bit late, you find that those white gloves are finished, so you can only wear the latex gloves. Then you have a conveyor belt, where, like, it's like, you know, all of you are, like, you have a conveyor belt here and all of you are in a line, and then everyone is handling one ingredient. So maybe for you, you are handling cheese, someone else is handling tomatoes, someone else is handling cheese, like that. So you'll be putting that ingredient, and the conveyor belt is just passing, so you have to be really fast. So your work is like this, like this. It was an exercise by its own. And then, let's say, because it was like you work up to, I think, 7 to 8 hours, or at times less, you only had 2 breaks. Around 9 you take 1 break, then you take lunch break, and the last one is when you go home. So all this time you're standing and you're just like this, And for my first day, whatever I was handling was something that you had to scoop. So you scoop, you flatten it, because the ingredients have to be in a certain ratio, and the weight has to be should not exceed or be less than a certain amount. So you scoop and then you flatten, and then those scoops were made in such a way that for you to be able to pour whatever you've scooped, you have to press. So it's scoop, flatten, press. And forgot to tell you that we used to wear masks too. So we wore masks even before Corona. So you wear the mask and then you wear a hat. So the only thing that someone can see is your eyes. And when you're new, you're supposed to wear a yellow hat while everyone else is wearing a white mask. So if anything goes wrong, the supervisors will come for you, the newbie. So it was so hard for me the first days, and it's like at times you feel like quitting, but when you remember you don't have any other source of income, you are in a foreign country, you have to eat, you have to pay bills, you have to pay rent, and you don't have a ticket back home, my friend, you work. Even I'm not a morning person, but then when the alarm goes off at 5, then I remember my problems, the bills that I need to pay, I would wake up so fast, take that shower and take my bike to the place. Just as a disclaimer, I have a very supportive family who are willing to send me money, but I felt it would be unfair for them to send money all the way from Kenya to here to sustain my life here, whereas there was something I could do. Actually, the other reason why I've decided to narrate this is because these are some of the things that people don't talk about regarding living and working abroad. There are some people who have formal employment and they have an assurance of getting their salaries at the end of the month, but there are people also who survive on these menial jobs. Yesterday, I read an article about a Kenyan girl who was living in Vienna, Austria, and committed suicide by throwing herself on the railway line. And the reason for committing suicide was she said that life had become so hard and she wasn't able to meet her needs and those of her siblings back home. And this got me thinking, because I'm wondering, those people who relied on that place where we used to make sandwiches, like that's their last hope, what they are doing right now or how they are surviving right now. Because remember, you're handling food, and we used to put all those hygienic measures in place back then. So it means at the moment, because of COVID and everything, if this job is still there or if they are still making the sandwiches, it means it has to be in lower quantities and very few people are there. So that means you cannot, maybe you don't work every day, because you are paid on hourly basis. Like, so if you work 7 hours, you paid the 7 hours. If you work 3 hours, you will pay the 3 hours. And then they kind of make a schedule where you're told, okay, for you, you will work Monday, Tuesday and Friday. Like, it's not guaranteed that you will work on a certain day. At times they revise the schedule, and maybe you thought you will be working 5 days a week, but then they reduce your days to 3. So it does, sometimes you're willing to work, but then there's no work to do. So I've been kind of wondering how these people are surviving, or maybe those people who used to work in restaurants, because during the lockdown all the restaurants were closed and such things. And you know, people back home kind of think that there's a tree somewhere where people harvest money abroad, which is not the case. Only that your problems or your bills, knowing that you have no one to rely on, makes you really work your ass off. Like, you'll see people working even more than 2 or 3 jobs. During the day you do this, then after that in the evening you do something else. And even some students do that. During the day they go to school, and in the evening they do some part-time jobs. But people back home, most of the time, they don't really understand that. So I just thought I should narrate this short story about my experience doing manual jobs. I did that job for 3 months. Yeah, July, August and September, before I came to France in October. And to be honest, I felt like quitting so many times, but that wasn't an option, knowing that I don't have a ticket. And for me to get a ticket to go back home, it means I have to work. So there was no way out. And also at times when you think, okay, even when you go back home, it's not like there's a job there waiting for you, even though you have a master's or a PhD. It makes you just stick there and work. So yeah, that's my short story of the kind of menial jobs that we did here in Europe. I hope I will not have to do that again in future, because those jobs, as much as they pay quite well, they are not easy. They are not easy at all. And something else people don't know is life abroad is so expensive. Also, another thing that I would like to request you guys, like if you have a relative living abroad and then they trust you enough to help you invest back home, where they send you money to do some projects. I've really heard so many stories where people send money home, and when they go back they realize that nothing was done. Like, the money was used for other projects or misused. Yeah, you don't know the kind of job or the kind of hassle this person goes through to be able to save that amount that he or she is sending back home or trying to invest back home. So if you really can't help someone do that, then don't take their money. Instead of someone really hoping like, okay, I'm working on this so that I can just, you know, leave this job that is so tiresome and go back home, and then they come and realize nothing was done. It's not fair. It's not fair, because yeah, it isn't. Just put yourself in someone's shoes. Yeah, do unto others what would you'd like to be done to you. Like, how would you feel if someone did that to you? If you know you'd feel bad, then don't do it to someone else. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you have not checked the video on where I made this beautiful wig, go check it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.